everyone, this is WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, and this is Weather or Not. And we have some Halloween heat to talk about. The record high in Halloween, 81, set back in 1946. The coldest Halloween, we had a low of 29 back in 1956. It was a soaker back in 1958. We actually had a trace of rain. Last Halloween, it was about 51 degrees, so actually below average. Before that, it was above average for a couple of years. The average high is 59. But we're talking about records within reach all across the area. Newark's going to be awful close, so will the park, but basically mid-70s to lower 80s for your highs, and a little toasty for trick-or-treat time, generally in the 70s. We'll need the breeze to feel a little cooler under some of those heavier weight costumes. Southwest breeze about 8 to 16 miles an hour, and deeper into the evening, and I'll show you on the Futurecast, we'll be dropping into the 60s in some of our suburbs, but very, very mild. There's never really a chilly feel, so I would imagine the trick-or-treating is going to extend a little later this year. Certainly no coats over the costumes as we surge toward record warmth. In terms of our dryness, there's no significant rain in sight. With that said, there are some showers on Friday morning. I'll show you the timing. The extended forecast, it's back to reality in terms of temperatures. 80s will turn into 50s this weekend. It's back to average and also standard time as we turn the clocks back late Saturday night into Sunday morning. So about to close out the month with 1/100th of an inch of rainfall. Of course, it came on the 29th. We're 4 1/4 inches of rain below average. So that puts us in the top spot with no rain expected on Halloween. It'll end up being the driest month on record by 1/100th of an inch over June of 1949. We are nearly 7 inches of rain below average since September 1st. Nearly 3 inches below average for the year, and our reservoirs are running nearly 10% below typical levels. Now, that does have something to do with the Delaware Aqueduct project, where we had a huge leak in the pipeline coming from the Croton Reservoir and the Catskill watershed. We had major leaks near Newburgh, so they're trying to fix that by doing a pipeline. We're leaking something like 35 million gallons a day. So by fixing that, New York City is tapping into a little bit more of that lower Hudson Valley watershed, and that's taking down some of the reservoir values. With that said, we've certainly been dry, so a combination of the two is kind of draining our reservoirs right now, so we really could use some rainfall. We're going back now, and we have, with 1.59 inches of rain, the second driest fall on record, and we're still pacing below average. And the Climate Prediction Center had us a little closer to normal first week of November, but now going into the second week of November, another below normal signal. We just seem to be getting fronts coming from the north and west, and they're somewhat moisture starved as they arrive here. We will update the drought monitor, which updates every Thursday. So just get a look at this with moderate severe drought over southern New Jersey, but the moderate drought expanding into northern New Jersey, abnormally dry everywhere else, little pocket of some moderate drought just north of Dutchess County. So we'll see how that picture deteriorates with the updated drought monitor coming out on Thursday. Rainfall chances. I do think we'll have some showers moving through the area on Friday morning. I'll talk about amounts. They're really not all that impressive and not beneficial. The weekend's going to be dry. There's another threat of a passing shower on Monday. Thankfully, the rain chances are nil on Election Day, or next to nothing on Election Day. So Futurecast starting out on Thursday morning, it's very mild. 61 in the city, 50s most suburbs. The coolest areas north and west could dip into the upper 40s, places like Monticello and into Sussex. There will be some patchy high clouds around. There'll also be a really nice southwest breeze that could go about 10 to 20 miles an hour. That should soar, or temperatures should soar into the upper 70s and lower 80s. I think we'll get some mid-80s over interior parts of New Jersey. Central Park touches 80, and of course south-facing shores will be cooler in the mid-70s. And the humidity isn't even all that low, so it really feels like a summer day on your Halloween. So as we move forward into Friday, you're looking at basically some partly cloudy skies after midnight, wee hours of the morning, and then some showers begin to move in. I think between about 5 and 8 in the morning on Friday, we've got some showers around. They're probably a little steadier over parts of the Hudson Valley. The window for New York City, sometime between 8 and 11 o'clock in the morning. So make it between 9 and noon on the island and especially down the shore. Once we get after lunchtime, skies have cleared out. Might have some lingering cloudiness in Ocean County and on the east end. but we've got a gusty breeze coming in, and the chillier air is actually lagging, even though the cold front has passed by and we've got more of a northwest or westerly breeze. We don't get the cooling until Friday night, so it's another day in the mid and upper 70s. The difference is the humidity will be dropping with the drier wind. So with the warm temperatures, the lower humidity, our fire risk is probably highest on Friday. It's still elevated on Halloween, but even higher during the day on Friday. Friday evening isn't bad. We'll start to sense that it's getting a little chillier. Certainly temperatures already dropping into the 40s in the Catskills later Friday evening. But it starts out mild. But if you're planning a late night on Friday, you probably take the coat along with you because it might feel a little chillier late at night. By the way, rainfall totals from that little batch coming in, hundredths for the most part. Maybe we could push a tenth of an inch north of New York City. We're not talking about anything significant. But again, with all the oils trapped in the pavement, any showers can bring some slick conditions, so just be aware of that for the morning commute on Friday. So the morning showers still warm, will remain kind of brisk on Saturday. The wind will probably be, we'll categorize it as breezy. Maybe it's a little stronger in the morning, but much cooler air is working in. Despite having a mostly sunny sky, will only be in the 50s on Saturday. And now it looks like Marathon Sunday is going to stay in the 50s too, but I think it's perfect for the runners on Sunday. I'll show you the forecast in just a moment. Any showers here from the next system probably don't run in here until Monday. So at the start at Fort Wadsworth and Staten Island, forecasting a temperature of about 46. So certainly will be chilly for the runners to stay warm and get warmed up for the start, but I think they love the race conditions because we start in the 40s. The wind is very light out of the north. So technically it's like a little crosswind on the Verrazano, but it's not really not going to be strong at all. And then by, let's say, mid or late morning, we're only climbing through the 50s. So that's ideal. The other thing is that some high clouds could mute the sun at times or at least filter it. So you're not talking about full sunshine bearing down on some of the runners. So they will like that as well and also reduce the sun glare a little bit at times. But it'll be a bright day. Looking at the overall steering pattern, you can see how the big ridge of warmth in the east starts to exit and we get that cool shot. It's really more of a glancing blow. The core of the cold air is over eastern Canada, gets chilly in northern New England. So we're stuck in the 50s over the weekend. We start to recover. Now Monday might be a little unsettled, but then by the time we get to Election Day, we're already starting to warm up. Nice southwest flow here. And by the time we get to Wednesday, we could actually flirt with record warmth again. It looks like there is another cold shot or cool shot that comes in the second half of next week. So maybe we go back to 50s at that time. And then looking beyond that, there's still some coolness from the Great Lakes into northern New England. So we're probably going to be closer to seasonable. But you can see this ridge building in the west. Looks like more Pacific air maybe down the pipeline. And that's why the Climate Prediction Center is saying, okay, 7th to the 13th, we're still suggesting above normal temperatures. I think the 7th to the 9th might be a little chillier, but then after that, we may start to warm above normal again. Here's the old 10-day trend. The idea of the 80 on Halloween should be the second warmest Halloween, the warmest Halloween in nearly 80 years. 75 degrees on November 1st. That might even be 77. We have a pair of days in the 50s over the weekend. Start to warm it up, flirting with a record high. Next Wednesday, the record high is 75. We're close. Then we dip into the 60s and 50s again late next week, but I think we warm up again after that. I check on the tropics. The one area we're watching, or we continue to watch, is a broad area of low pressure that will try to develop over the Caribbean. There's nothing really organized right now, but there could be a depression over the weekend. Hurricane Center giving a 40% shot at some development as we go into the weekend. The next named storm would be Patty. If you look at the low-level spin, we're looking at this into early next week. Maybe there's something that doesn't look terribly strong over parts of the Caribbean. One thing that's interesting is this particular model tries to bring in a more organized system into the southern Gulf on the 7th of November, but then all these fronts that are coming into the north tend to suppress it down toward the Yucatan. And this is why it's so difficult in November to get an organized tropical system to come north, is just the overall prevailing westerlies and steering winds over the continental United States going a little farther south, tending to sort of suppress or shear out any storms that are coming through the north. So here's the AccuWeather forecast. 61 degrees at 7 in the morning on your Thursday, Halloween. Partly cloudy and mild, some high clouds around. Say 48 to 58 in most of our suburbs. Then through the day, mix of sun and patchy high clouds, near 80 during the afternoon, near record warm. It's breezy. 70s for trick-or-treat time, a southwest wind 10 to 20. Then tomorrow night, it's like a summer night. 66 degrees, balmy and breezy, partly to mostly cloudy, and a few showers start coming in toward dawn. Even in the after midnight time period, maybe 3, 4 in the morning in the Catskills and Poconos. So your 7-day, boy, there's lots of icons, so let me explain it. Number one, we have some showers on the 1st of November, then still warm with clearing skies, mid and upper 70s, but breezy and lowering humidity. Then look at that drop on Friday from 75 or 77-ish during the day down to 48 at night. So it's a chilly day on Saturday, but it's nice and bright, sunshine, few patchy clouds, 59. Go down to 44 Saturday night, so figure 46 degrees at the start at the marathon of Fort Wadsworth. 58 during the day, so the race is going to be in the 50s. Don't forget, we turn the clocks back late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunset on Sunday will be at 4:49. There is a shower chance on Monday where more clouds than sun, maybe 60, limited sun. Then we're pleasant at the polls. A little breezy on election day, but we're getting towards 70 and near a record high by the time we get to Wednesday of next week. That's your latest forecast discussion on whether or not. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time, rain or shine.